Thank you very much.
It's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, Spawn number 361 by Image Comics. This came out in February of 2025. It's a $2.99 comic book. I got a cover here that is illustrated by Bjorn Behrens. He's a computer graphics generated artist here. You can kind of tell. Computer generated artwork here. It's not AI, but hyper realistic. I really do like his covers, but this is definitely a style that I don't feel like would lend itself well to interior pages. I wouldn't want a whole comic book of this style of artwork. But it looks really cool for a cover like Spawn. It's got that kind of fantasy, sci-fi feel to it for sure. We got Brett Booth as the artist on the interiors here, which is the main reason I've been sticking around on Spawn for the past year or so. Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, former artist, current writer here. He's just become the writer again on Spawn as of the previous issue. I saw Brett Booth talking about, I think it was on X, formerly known as Twitter. He was talking about how Todd had just come back onto writing in this book. So he wanted to make sure that he stayed on for this book as Todd came back, just to try and keep some consistency going. He didn't want to leave Todd right as he came back on this book. And since issue 350, when Brett Booth took over on artwork, I don't think he's had one fill-in artist on this book. He's hit every issue. So I've really liked Brett Booth's artwork on Spawn. He's the former Backlash, was his creator-owned character at Image. He's done a lot of work on Wildcats and X-Men. Fantastic Four back during Heroes Reborn. He kind of was the fill-in artist for the Jim Lee issues. And, you know, his style does look a lot like Jim Lee's, which I think is where a lot of his criticism gets levied at him from. But you know, I don't know why you would criticize someone for drawing like Jim Lee. And Brett Booth's picked up his own style over the years too, but he just feels like one of the few guys who still has this like really delicate kind of intense but really clean like pencil and ink style. So, and maybe clean's not even the right word. It's almost kind of dirty, but lots of little, you know, cross-hatching and sketching everywhere. You know, in the muscles, just in the little grooves and like the cape and the costume and the chains, like all the little, these look like McFarlane, like little cape things on there. So now in the last issue, Spawn died. And I kind of like this introduction, this previously in Spawn. It's very succinct. It says, Spawn refused to listen to the warnings. He foolhardily jumped into battle and was killed, which is pretty much what happened. And Nyx, who is on the throne of hell right now, she's the queen of hell. She's using this zombie-like avatar to walk around here on Earth and communicate with Simmons. And not a whole lot going on in this specific issue. It's pretty much just Nyx and Spawn kind of having this like battle, talking to each other. Here's Nyx actually on the throne. She says, I won't tolerate disloyalty. Not Simmons, not you, not anyone. He says, she says, have you not asked what I've done? Her servants say, we did. Our beast carries your gifts in his sack. She says, opens it. And they open the sack and there's all these dead bodies from the battle between heaven and hell. And she uses all the bodies of heaven and hell to create this giant, like, creature using the bodies. Pretty cool. So we get back to Nyx and Spawn here, and basically she's telling Spawn he plays an integral role in this plan that she has. And her plan is to take over the throne of heaven so that she controls both thrones. And I assume also taken over Earth. But Spawn says that he's the one in control here, and he controls the shadows. So he's more powerful than Nyx here on Earth. It says her jaw breaks as it snaps open, vomiting a stream of cockroaches and sending her body into convulsions. Spawn wanting this avatar to suffer long enough that the real Nyx will feel its effects all the way in hell. She says you'll pay for that. But she's really no match for Spawn here. He says, you may be Hell's new queen, but I am Earth's king. A power you'll never enjoy. And he sends her back to hell, and her avatar goes crashing down onto the ground here. Some really cool drawings. I really like this, like, vaporizing skeleton here. She tells them they'll come for you, they'll all come. And Spawn says, and when I'm through with them, I'm coming for you, Nyx. And then he's like ripping off his costume. He's like freaking out. He's like having a panic attack here or something. It says 10 minutes passed. Spawn collects himself, and then he's confronted by all these guys. And they're like, wow, that was some kind of display. As they're just watching him, waiting. We get kind of a green pool here. This like Deadpool looking character. He just looks like a reskin of Deadpool, really. Or Deathstroke, because he's got like one eye. So it's got to be like Spawn's version of Deadpool. He even kind of seems like to have this sarcastic kind of attitude. So, and he's got these two heavies with him as well. I like the design on this guy a lot. I think Brett Booth's costume design is underrated for sure. And it says, and so it continues an endless stream of constant conflicts that, as these three now show, won't allow Spawn to ever have any real joy in his life ever again, as they slowly erode away his humanity. So, and that's kind of Todd's writing style too, what you just got there. Nothing's too flowery. It's very straightforward, and you know, not too in depth. You don't have to think too hard. It's a pretty simple story. I mean, if you want some real like highbrow, in-depth, intelligent discussion from a comic book, you're really not going to get it from a Spawn comic. But you know, they're not pandering to anybody though in these comics. They're just fun superhero comics, battles between heaven and hell. We get a final splash page here of Nyx creating her big giant like zombie walking dead creature here. She says Earth will pay. So again, not a whole lot storyline wise. We just get Spawn and Nyx kind of going at it here. Spawn maintaining his ground on Earth basically. So, but Spawn gets his powers back, and the events from this comic kind of ripple through all the other Spawn comics. I got the Scorch number 38 right here. I'll be reviewing this one coming up pretty soon, so stick around for that. The newest issue of The Scorched, the team book from Spawn, Spawn's universe. So that's all I got today. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, especially if you made it this far. If you haven't yet, please like the video and go read comics.